So, welcome everyone to another episode of Women Who Lead. I'm your host, Teresa Palacios Smith, Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer at Home Services of America. And today we bring together an inspiring voices from across the globe to share their journeys, their insights, and leadership perspectives. Today's episode, titled Global Navigators, features women who are breaking new ground in international markets, bridging cultures, and leading with purpose. I love that. So grab your cafecito if you don't already have it and relax as we hear from these phenomenal women. With me today, I have Gloria Gallego Mendez, who is Vice President and Managing Broker at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services EWM's Key Biscayne office. Under her leadership, the Key Biscayne office reflects the rich cultural diversity of Miami, with agents hailing from countries in the Caribbean, Central and South America, Spain, and Portugal. I love all of that. This multicultural environment fosters a dynamic workplace where multiple languages, cultures, and energy combine. Vivian graduated with a master's degree in psychology from the University of Miami and has a passion for connecting with people and building relationships. And I'm sure that that background really serves you well as we work with our agents and with our customers that you represent. She is actively involved at the Key Biscayne Chamber of Commerce, where she serves as the 2024 chair. That's very impressive, Vivian, and also involved in philanthropic efforts supporting organizations like the American Cancer Society and our loved organization, the Sunshine Kids. Welcome, welcome, Vivian, to the show.
Thank you, Teresa. It's a pleasure to be here. Hi, everybody.
Laura Abaji. So Laura is the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services headquarters, where she leads strategic alliances, marketing campaigns, public relations initiatives, and social marketing strategy. What a big role, not just for the brand, but also for our luxury collection. Before her current role, she served as Chief Communications Officer at The Agency, a luxury brokerage firm, and held executive positions at top marketing and public relations firms in Los Angeles and Miami. So I know you've got that global perspective for sure. And throughout her career, Laura has developed and executed marketing campaigns for over 50 new development projects across the United States, Mexico, and the Caribbean. And she holds a master's degree in communications from Griffith University in Australia. And you're going to hear a little bit of her accent in a minute. And also a bachelor's degree in print journalism with a minor in political science from California State University. So welcome, Laura, to the show.
Thanks, Teresa. It's great to be here.
And Marina Risotto. I love your name. She's the CEO and founder of BHHS Palazzo Estate, a distinguished luxury real estate firm in Italy with more than 15 years of experience in the high-end property markets of northern and central Italy. Holding 2 master's degrees in economics, Marina brings a rigorous analytical approach to real estate strategy, combining market insight with the ability to craft and implement effective growth plans. That is so impressive. Renowned for her strong leadership, Marina has successfully led teams to achieve consistent results and has built an impressive portfolio of luxury properties sold all across Italy, solidifying their reputation for excellence in this sector. And again, I'm so thankful to you because right now it is actually 7 p.m. in Italy where Marina is stationed. And I just want to thank you for joining us because we're so excited to have you and to hear about everything that's Italian.
Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very happy to be with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I always ask everyone, because I'm really interested in learning, we're all about real estate. How is it that you were able to find this field? Was it by accident? Was it, on purpose? And also, what does your role entail? And what markets do you serve in your areas that you're in? So I'll start with you, Vivian.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Teresa. Actually, mine was a little bit by accident. I had just moved to Key Biscayne. I lived right outside Key Biscayne, but it had always been my dream to move here. I went to UM, and many of my friends in the 80s were studying in UM, and they lived here. So I loved the Key Biscayne area. And then finally, when I moved, a friend of mine who owned a boutique company asked me, and she says, I'm going to sell my company to EWM. We want to grow, and I would love it if you would be our manager. So I asked her, what would that entail? And she says, well, you have to become a broker, but you would be the sales manager, and you would be in charge of hiring agents and dealing with people. And of course, lo and behold, I love working with people. I love dealing with people, and I love recruiting. I think that's actually my favorite part of this role. So I said yes, and here's 24 years later, I'm still here.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I know you also tell us the markets in Key Biscayne. Is that primarily the markets that you serve? But you also have a lot of people that are coming from all parts of South and Central America that end up in the Miami area.
Yes, and in the Key Biscayne area. Yes, this is mainly our market, and it's so interesting because our staff, as well as the agents, the residents, the guests, the customers, I mean, it's multicultural. That's what it is. And let me just say a couple of countries where they're from. It's Colombia, Peru, Argentina, Mexico, Spain, Venezuela, Portugal, Brazil, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. So it's a melting pot. And actually, that's what Miami is right now. It's a melting pot of different people
I
and
love that.
cultures.
I
Mhm.
love that. How about you, Marina? How'd you get into real estate?
It's interesting because my story was born from a deep love for Italy. 20 years, almost 20 years ago, when I first arrived and discovered the northern lakes of Italy, it's like Lake Como, Lake Maggiore, Lake Garda. I fell completely in love with this land, and so I felt a strong desire to share my passion and my admiration with others. So at that time, I was working for a very well-known multinational semiconductor company, and one friend of mine just asked me to help him to find his house, his future house by the lake. So I assisted him in this finding his property, his dream property, and this experience was so fulfilling. So I decided completely change my work career, and with two university economic degrees, I enrolled in real estate courses. I passed all the exams and earned a real estate broker's license. And then I opened my first own agency. And since then, I have actively promoted our beautiful lakes through writing articles, participating in international exhibition, and much more. There are so many wonderful memories along the way, and no request to find property ever intimidated me, because whether it was on the lake or in Tuscany, and I would get behind the wheel and drive just to find a perfect property for my client. People told me I was crazy, but it was worth it. I've never once regretted making such a change of my business life. So
Now,
I'm
you
very.
said that you came to Italy, but where are you originally from?
I was born in Ottawa, Canada, then I moved in Russia, then in Poland. So I arrived in Italy from Poland.
From Poland. So you fell in love immediately. I love that. And of course, that just got into the real estate, which is really a lot of what we hear from many of the leaders. That's how they fell in love with real estate. They fell in love with their city or their properties or looking at homes or new construction, all of that. So exciting to hear from you, Marina. How about you,
Thank
Laura?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was working as a journalist for a very long time after college, and then I happened to get on the real estate beat in Miami, of all places. So what a great place to report about real estate. And from there, I transitioned over into marketing and communications, and have worked for some really great brokerages, and now here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.
Now, do you still live in Miami, or are you?
No, I'm here in Southern California, where our Berkshire Hathaway Home Services headquarters is.
Oh, that's fantastic. So from Miami to California, again, very exciting. And that's where I started too. My degree is in journalism too. So we have a very similar background, Laura.
Yeah.
So let's take a big picture view about leadership, because this show is about leading. And what does that mean to you? And how do you embody this in your work? And sometimes I know it can be complicated depending on the roles that we have and what we do and some of the people that we kind of connect with. But Maureen, I'll start with you. What does that mean to you?
To me, leadership is about guiding others to realize their full potential as both as individuals or as a part of a team. It's less about directing, it's more about supporting others by providing them with resources for their collaboration and for their growth. I think it's just what I think about leadership.
It's beautifully said. I think that's awesome. Laura, how about you?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Marina. That's sort of my philosophy on leadership, really creating that space for people to flourish and grow within their, positions. And yeah, seeing people succeed in their careers is one of my most exciting parts about being a leader.
Fantastic. Vivian?
Yes. Teresa, I think leadership is composed of many factors. And I think that there's knowledge, innovation, integrity, and reputation. And I incorporate that because I feel that that is me, but I feel that that is BHHS. I feel that's Warren Buffett. I feel that's Gino Blefari. I feel that that's my CEO, Ron Sheffield, and our agents. We have wonderful, wonderful people. And I think that leadership is all of that. And we're actually the leaders in Key Biscayne. So I think that, one just goes with your philosophy and the way that you show that to the world.
Well, I think that, you just pegged it. You're the leaders in Key Biscayne. You're very known in that market. And I think that is so true with navigating, those individuals that we are really in charge of, or with the task of running an office is pretty big, or owning it, or delivering the types of materials, Laura, that you have to deliver to the network as global. And I know that y'all are navigating that landscape because you're working in different areas of the country, in Miami and in California. Those are big metropolitan cities that work with a lot of people coming in and also exiting out. And also, Marina, with you, what challenges have you encountered as women, and how have you addressed those specific challenges of, being in that leadership position or in the roles that you're in? I'll start with you, Vivian.
Well, I think that with us in Key Biscayne, we deal with those Latin American countries. And I think that there might still be some issues with what I've seen is men just wanting to deal with men. So I do have 100 agents, so I can actually choose from many of them. But I only have 5 men. The rest are females. But let me tell you a funny story. We had floor time here at the office, and we had a gentleman who came in from a Latin American country, and he just started talking to one of the agents who was on floor, a female. And it actually, they talked, she showed him properties and all that, but it never amounted to anything. Then he came back a little bit later, because this was his second home. And he came back later and and on floor again, and he dealt with somebody else. And that transaction just wouldn't close. And I'm saying, what's going on here? I see that they're polite and they're doing great and they're talking, and my agents are very professional. So I actually met with him, and I realized that he just wanted to deal with a male realtor. And it was just what he was used to, nothing else, just what he felt comfortable with. So I assigned him to an agent, and he's actually bought 2 properties with that male agent. So,
Sometimes that's trying to, and the fact that you took that on and said, okay, in this case, obviously that might work best for that individual. I think sometimes is understanding the client's needs and
yes,
also, but also expanding, because sometimes I would take that as my ego and say, okay, well, I don't really want your business if you can't work with a
right,
woman. You know what I
right.
mean? But to understand and say, you know what? Let's understand the culture,
Exactly.
right? The culture will change eventually because he's going to see that there are a lot of women that are in phenomenal positions here in the US, and he'll start to get used to that. But I know that it's kind of complicated when it's somebody that really is used to that type of business, right? Interaction. Marina, how about you?
Uh, working as a woman in Italy's real estate world has its challenges, because especially since it's still pretty traditional and male dominated. So how I tackle this? I tackle this by building a very strong local relationships, by understanding the Italian culture and focusing on trust.
Well, I think too, you came from that semiconductor side, because I thought you said that when you first spoke, and I'm like, to me, that's like pretty male dominant field in itself, right? It's
Right.
engineers and that type of talent. So you had that background to begin with, but that's beautifully said of how it is building relationships and establishing a reputation that you know what you're talking about. I think that's really the biggest key. And Laura, you work on a different scope with all of our marketing materials, with all of our, graphics. So how do you handle making sure that what we do transcends different global markets? Because we are here in the US, that's our headquarters, but we represent people from all over the world. So how are you able to do that so beautifully when you take on the projects that you do?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We do have to be very mindful because there are so many cultural things that we have to be very respectful of. And we're lucky that we have great network members around the world like Marina or Vivian. If we're putting some ads together, or if we're, thinking about putting a report together, that we talk to them and, run it by, hey, is this correct? Even, we have a lot of our pieces translated, but sometimes using a translation company might be a little different than local languages. So we're lucky that we can have such great people within our network that we can rely on to help us with that. And also really keeping on top of current trends as well, and doing a lot of research as well as we, work with, 50,000 network members around the world. We have a lot to keep in mind.
Yeah, and that's so true. I mean, I know that, you don't think about that, but even words like in Spanish, I can share with you one word in one country is not obscene, but it is in another country. And I'm like, wait, somos Latinos, we're all Latinos. Why is that, But
Right.
but just knowing the cultural nuances, I think that it's a talent, right? And the fact that you're using our network members, for that beautifully, I think really talks a lot about our expertise, right? Because we understand the different things and that happen in different markets. So one of the things that I also like to talk about is cultural insight. And you spoke about one already, right? Vivian, about knowing and understanding the different cultures that we deal with. What is another example of something that you realize help you overcome a business or leadership challenge? And how did that help you shape your approach moving forward? And Laura, I'll start with you first, and then I'll move to Vivian.
Yeah, sure. So interestingly, actually, we just had we're working on our 2025 brand campaign, which is very exciting. And we're working with our creative agency, and they presented us some materials, and there were some words in there that did not translate. And luckily, like we have a very global team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. So some of those words we were able to, pick up and say, and we flagged it to them, and they said, "Well, I've never heard of." That translating to that. But then they went ahead and checked with, some global members of their team and said, well, actually, you're right. We should definitely not be putting this in our ads. So, I think being able to work with people that have experience, whether they come from different countries or they've lived in different countries or they're sort of exposed to different cultures around the world. I think that really helps us. Certainly in my current role, we have such a great team that has so many different experiences.
Well, also the fact that, well, first of all, that the global company second guessed y'all. Wait a minute. Right? No, we're right. We know this. We understand it. I think that's great. Vivian, how about you?
Well, I think one of the things that happens here, Teresa, is that our agents, let's say that they're working with their customer and their customer has their way of doing business in their Latin American country. But here we're in the United States, we do things different. So one of the things that we talk a lot about is the fact that you're the realtor, you're not their property manager or their attorney or their accountant. And that customer wants the agent to do everything for them. They have to know their legal issues, the accounting issues, the property manager, and take care of the property. And no, it's just, we don't do it like that here. Our agents need to know that they're the realtor, and then there's a property manager, there's an attorney if they need help with that. We have our mortgage consultant, but they don't need to be everything like the customer expects. So a lot is really educating the customer and letting them know that here we do things differently.
Well, that is
And,
so,
and Americanize them a little bit more, I
yes,
think.
because
Yes.
contracts and even haggling, like things that after a contract is signed, there are a lot of cultures that believe, well, we're still not until we close, until we can still negotiate on the contract. And just,
Right.
I think that you hit it right on the nose. The education piece is so critical. Marina, and I can imagine that this is something that you deal with too, with people coming from the US and perhaps buying property in Italy, that it's also a different way of doing business and that you're also interacting with individuals that you have to educate well as well.
Yeah, that's right. And in Italy's real estate, relationships are everything. You have to understand it. Deals come from trust built over coffee, meals, and real conversations. So not just boardrooms. And sometimes the best strategy, is just to slow down and build that personal connection, and just let trust naturally lead the way. So this cultural insight, that relationships in Italy are more personal than professional, really helped me a lot in my business.
So in other words, let's say that somebody is interested in buying a property.
Yeah.
They really have to develop a relationship with the seller if the seller wants to take that deal on. Is that what you're explaining? Very different from the United States, because in the
Yes.
United States, we're very protected by fair housing laws. So in fair housing, the seller and the buyer very rarely interact because we want to protect their ability to be able to present that offer without any kind of judgments or discrimination. It's based on who brings in the best offer to the table. Very unique, very different. I think that's an eye-opening thing. So it's developing those relationships that are really critical before a property is actually transitioned over to someone else. And having that expertise, obviously, Marina, is where your leadership really shines. So how about mentors? And I think that's an important part for women. I know it's also for men, but I think specifically for women, because a lot of times I have found in my career that I have needed that. So how about you? Have you found that that is something that is impacted your path? And is there someone that stands out? Vivian, I'll start with you.
Well, since I did a total career change, because I was in psychology for about 20 years, and then I moved over to real estate. I mean, I didn't even know if I was going to stay, if I was going to like it or not like it. But honestly, Teresa, working with EWM, it's changed my life completely. And I think that's mostly due to our CEO. I mean, Ron Sheffield is the epitome of ethical and professional, and his reputation is highly regarded here in Miami and all over Miami-Dade and Broward. So I think that really has made an impact on me, and I hope that I uphold that, and we continue doing well, and having BHHS continue doing so good.
Oh,
But
I
it's
think I
because of
couldn't agree
him.
with you more on Ron. He is such a phenomenal classic individual. I had the opportunity to work with him when I was doing the NARP event in
Oh,
Miami, the NARP Top 250. And I tell you, his help and leadership really helped really make that such an easy event to handle when I'm in Atlanta because he just did it all. He's like, hey, you don't worry about it. We'll get it all set up. That is what a true leader and a true mentor is about.
and
So
with
I
a great
love,
attitude, and
yes,
with
and
a
with an
wonderful
awesome
attitude.
attitude.
Mhm.
I think that's awesome. How about you, Laura?
Yeah, I agree. Ron is the best. I love working with him and the EWM team. Yeah, I'm so lucky that over the course of my career, I've had some really great mentors from, the editor at my newspaper in Miami was a fantastic gentleman to, people I've worked with in PR and marketing firms. Actually, one gentleman who works with EWM there in Miami, does the PR and marketing there, was a really big influence in my career as well. And
And would you
today,
say who is it? Because I
oh,
like to give acknowledgement.
oh, right.
Yes.
Okay, it's Krebs PR. It's Mr. Israel Krebs.
Oh,
Sorry, yes.
nice.
Yes, Vivian knows him well. So he does all the PR and marketing for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, EWM Realty. And then today, I have such an amazing boss, Wendy Durand,
She is.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
So
I
I'm
love
grateful.
Wendy because she
Yeah.
lets you be you and she lets you lead, right?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, I think that's one of the beautiful things about the leadership within our home services company. How about you, Marina?
I think it's a full cycle experience because it's about both giving and receiving. Because having mentors helped me to learn the ropes faster, and especially in real estate, where there is not a lot that you cannot just learn from the study from a book. So they helped me understand the unwritten rules of the business, and I'm very helpful to them.
Oh, unwritten rules. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. I love that. So true. Well, one of the things that I was able to join yesterday was a talk with Gino and with Rajiv on AI because he did on a global network side, and I know that it's involving and really we're working a lot with different tools in the real estate landscape. So, how have y'all been able to adapt these tools in your own businesses? And what do you see that the future of our, markets is going to look like as we look at technology really kind of creeping in and really advancing many areas? I'll start with you, Laura.
Sure. So AI is fantastic, sort of working on a global scale, obviously being aware of all those nuances we talked about earlier. Say, for example, we're working on our ski report, which is coming out in January. And as much as I would like to know about every ski market in the whole entire world, unfortunately, I don't. So using AI is great to just sort of, learn more and do research, not only on, the real estate market, but also on, different things about that region. So that's proving very helpful to on a global, for a global perspective, research and education. And then for the future, I think, it's only going to increase more as we become, more used to using it. And yeah, it's a fantastic tool and very helpful tool.
Yeah, I think it's so true. I'm nervous about it, but I do also am positive about it. Vivian?
Yes, I agree. I'm nervous, a little bit nervous about it because I'm a little older than many of the, the realtors that we see today. But AI is amazing. Is amazing. It's an incredible tool, and I think that the more you do training and you attend these seminars, we're all going to get better at it. And I think that it's the future. It really is. Well, it's the present and the future. Another tool is well, aside from Instagram and LinkedIn and Chat GPT, which are great and very useful for realtors, many of them use the WhatsApp. And I wanted to make a comment because I think it's particular to my market. I mean, I've been here many years, and I had never heard of WhatsApp. And then all of my realtors, my Latin American realtors, and of course, probably the international ones as well, they would use it and they would send me messages at whatever time. And I'm saying, what is this? And it was, and it's a great way of communicating. And I know that in one of our sales conference, there was a training on WhatsApp, and my agents had been using it for years because that was, what they were used to. But very good. I mean, we need to learn all of these things and to stay on top of the market.
And for those that are not familiar with WhatsApp, the one thing advantage is, and the one thing that, and why it became such a popular app is because in many countries across the world, the time and also the cost of minutes and transferring messaging to other parts of the world is very expensive. And what WhatsApp did was create a free tool that individuals could use, that they could bypass the costs, the extensive costs, and be able to directly communicate with family all over the world. And so it allows the FaceTime features that like Apple, allows you to be able to see someone in another country, touch them, speak to them, send messages, put groups all together. It really is a beautiful tool. And again, I found it many years ago when I traveled to Colombia, because trying to get back in touch in the US, the cost was expensive. And my cousin said, well, use WhatsApp, ahí se puede comunicar directamente. So I was like, okay, what's WhatsApp? So many years ago, I found it for that reason. So it really is a beautiful tool, and it's used a lot abroad in China and, in many countries. So again, beautiful. I'm glad you mentioned that one.
And we actually, Teresa, actually, we have a social chat and a WhatsApp and a business. So I put the business things, and exactly when our agents are traveling and they're in Spain or whatever, they answer in 2 seconds.
Yes.
So it's definitely made a change for us.
It really has made a difference. That's what the tools really do for us. Marina, how about you?
I'm happy about all the tools, and as a team, we just get used to use all these tools from Resource Center. Thanks to Amanda, first thanks to Renee, and now thanks to Amanda. And we are happy because they are really very useful. And AI and technology help me track trends, predict property values, and offer virtual tours, which is making real estate more faster and accessible. I like it.
Oh, well, one of the things too that I love about the AI tool is, and I cannot remember the name of it, but it's the tool that allows you to speak in a different language. And I think that is really transcended real estate, because it's allowed you to be able to effectively communicate what what your delivery is, or what options that you have, or with other people that you might not ever have been able to connect with. And I know that each of you have language skills, but to be able to speak to someone in French when you don't have that language, I think is a beautiful thing. So I just want to mention that one too. I think that's incredible. The other question that I have is, are there any kind of recommendations that you have to understand the different diverse backgrounds that you're working with? Because that's is extremely essential. And Medina, I'll start with you, because you're able to foster connections, right, with people coming into the market, you came from Poland. Your background was that you were in Russia, before that in Canada. How have you been able to foster connections and understand the cultural nuances that are part of Italy, of that Italian landscape?
It's not easy questions, but I focus on listening and understanding their business norms, respecting local customs, and adapting my communications style. Sorry, it's my dog here. And building trust, genuine connections, and being open to learning and finding common goals have been key strategies in creating strong relationships across cultures for
Have you
us.
found the fact that you have the background of the three other countries that you were a part of helpful in?
Yes, it's very helpful because I can more understand my clients more easily. And because, I have a mess in my mind. So sometimes, and it helps me to understand their culture, their needs, and to serve them better.
I think that is certainly a huge tool that we undervalue. I think it's really important because I think we can understand the differences, views that we see when we're talking to someone, especially when it comes to the different countries that we're touching. Vivian, how about you?
Well, I believe in being involved in the community is very important because that's how you get to meet everybody. So I think that through the Chamber of Commerce, we're teaming up with the Spanish American Chamber, the Italian American Chamber. And I think there's where you get to meet people and you're fostering these beautiful and amazing and hopefully long-lasting relationships with these other people and engage them to either move here or work with us. But it's very useful, and I think that the agents love it.
I think that is so true. And Laura, I'll
Mm.
end with you.
Yeah, I think keeping an open mind and then asking a lot of questions. So if you don't understand something, like, oh, why do you do that? Or, what is the origin of this? Or something like that, because I think people like to be ultimately like heard and understood. So gotta ask questions.
Oh, beautiful. And one of the things that I think is really helpful for me is the fact that we are members of so many different organizations. And I will tell you, when I attended my first ARIA, Asian Real Estate Association of America meeting, or my first NARAB meeting, or the LGBTQ plus Real Estate Alliance meeting, that's truly where you get to see the culture because people are themselves when they're with other people like them. Sometimes we have different roles that we play when we're with other people that are not like us, right? We want to fit in, like all of you are trying to fit in. We want to fit in, but that's when you really learn the culture. So I encourage all of you to definitely try a different culture that you've never, ever been with or understood so that you can really get the flavor of that community. That's what makes us so beautiful. All right. So one of the things that I look at is all the young people that are getting into the industry. They're getting into real estate. They want to pursue different career paths. So what advice would you give them as they embark on their journeys? And Marina, I'll start with you.
Okay. First of all, I would say them never stop learning and build culture awareness because these skills will help them to navigate diverse perspectives. And we have if we have always more and more young people in our team, and I'm happy about it because we are learning from them and they are learning from us. It's a full cycle experience. I like it.
Laura?
Yeah, I agree with Marina, never stop learning. And I think sort of Travel as well, right? Because the real estate world is so interconnected, all around the world. It's very fluid. So, if you get the opportunity to travel, then take it. But if you don't have the opportunity to travel, do your own research. Like, there's so many reports all the time. At Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, we put out so many reports about all the different areas and really learn about that. So when you're, speaking with clients or, just be curious about the world. It's great.
I think that's so true. For those traveling, it's just the cultures that you're exposed to and the different countries that you're able to visit. But if you're not able to do that, because not everyone's financially able to travel, there are
Yeah.
so many channels and resources now that really educate you on the foods and on the different areas of the world that you might not have ever had a chance to glimpse into because of the technology that is now available in different, even the most remote parts of the world. And Vivian, I'll end with you on that question.
I think that for my younger agents or for new agents, I always recommend training, number one, and EWM and Berkshire Hathaway. We have wonderful training as well as the board. The board has tons and tons of training that they give. So I think that that's one of the things that the agent should take part of so that they can learn and feel more comfortable and more knowledgeable. But I think, again, going back to the community, I really believe in that. I think that's how you get to meet people, and that's how you're going to build your clientele. So being involved in the community and, again, the chamber or any other types of activities, I think that's important. And lastly, we go a lot to broker presentations. There's a lot of new buildings being built now here in Miami. And I think that that's important because maybe you have a special client who is looking for the downtown area. And if you go to those broker presentations, you can send them the information, like the Waldorf Astoria is being built in downtown. And then you have the Mandarin Oriental that may be good for another customer. And then you have some beautiful projects in the Gables. So I think just learning all of what the community has to all the new things that the community will have in the very near future. I think starting in 25 and on, all these new projects. I think that if the young agents get involved with that and learn about it, it's going to be good for their career and for their
Oh,
customers.
beautiful. I think that is right spot on. All right, and I didn't ask you all this question, but I really hope that you can come up with an answer. And whoever wants to come up with it, let me know. What advice were you ever given that you thought, wow, this was great advice, and I really want to share it with others? Was there ever a piece of advice that you received either from one of your mentors, from a leader, from your parent, that you felt, wow, this has really touched me and I want to share this advice with others? Anyone? That's a new question.
Yeah. Um, Gosh, I've had so many great pieces of advice over the years. It's hard to pick just one, I guess. The one that resonates the most is, don't really stop working for what you want, like set your goals and just keep going at it no matter what. Like for every, door you knock on, you might get, rejections, but just to keep pick back up and keep going, keep knocking on doors and, yeah, just keep going. Don't ever give up.
I think that's awesome. I think that's an awesome piece of advice. Anyone else?
I think our Vice President, Sherry Porter, is a very positive and another mentor of mine. And she's always mentioning that whatever you give out is what you're going to receive, and I think that that's so important. And one of the things that resonates with me is to stay positive and stay optimistic. The real estate market, you have your ups, but then you have your downs sometimes, and if we're the leaders and we don't stay positive and optimistic, I mean, it's not going to be good for anybody. So.
That positivity works no matter what. I mean, I know sometimes people think, oh, you're being Pollyanna. No, but positive stuff really attracts other positive things
Yes.
in your life. So I could not agree with you more.
Mhm.
So as we wrap up, I love asking this question to leave our listeners with something valuable. Can each of you recommend either a great read, a podcast. Podcasts are so popular with people right now. A podcast, a TEDx, show that you watch, or even a book. And then lastly, a quote that really resonates with you. And let me know why that resonates with you. So I'll start with you, Marina.
I would recommend Warren Buffett's story.
Yes, that's it. And it's on
I
Netflix right now.
think,
You can see it. Yeah.
yes. And then Woman at Work by Harvard Business Review, and then How I Built This by Guy Raz. I like it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Laura?
Marina, that's so funny. How I Built This by Guy Raz is my go-to. Every time I'm, in the car or going for a walk or in the gym or something, I put it on because like that show is incredible.
So is it a podcast?
It's a podcast, yes.
Okay, and it's How I Built This. What is it about?
So Guy Raz interviews people who have built all different kinds of companies, and really he takes the audience on a journey from, say, like, some of the top name brands that, say, you like Banana Republic is one I just listened to. So he interviewed the owners and how they got started, and really, how they built this business, and the obstacles that they faced, and the lucky breaks that they had, and really everything. And it's great to, some of the brands you use day to day or know or shop or whatever, you listen to, how it started in its infancy, and really sort of goes back to, like, keep on trying to do whatever you want to do, because look at these people who
Yeah,
just
which
give
is
it
the
up.
lesson we should all just keep, because when you are passionate about something,
Mhm.
it is going to happen, right?
Mhm.
That's perfect. Anything else? Because you like that podcast?
Oh,
Any
that's
quotes or
my
quotes?
that's my favorite. Well, quote, I guess one thing that my parents always said to me, the golden rule, do unto others as what you want done, right? Like so that's something I try and live by in all facets.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
And Vivian, how about you?
Yeah, like I said before, and because of my background, I think I'm always trying to stay positive and encourage my agents. There's a book by John Maxwell. It's all about attitude. It's just Attitude 101, but it really tells you what we were talking before. If you have this positive attitude, especially during the bad times, you got to stay positive and optimistic, and I think you can get through everything. So that's something that I truly believe in. And actually, my quote is something that Ron says, but I truly believe in it. And it's, if you are in enough places, enough times, eventually you're going to be at the right place at the right time.
Oh, that is so true. I love that quote. Beautiful.
Mhm.
As we wrap up, I just want to make sure that you leave our audiences with something about your town that you love in the area that you're in. Marina, let's talk about Italy for a second, because I want to make sure that people know where you are located, how they can do business with you if they are interested in, either vacationing there or also, buying a home.
We are located, our head office is located in Como, on Lake Como. Last office we have just opened in Stresa, Lake Maggiore. We have also offices in Milan, in the center of Milan, and in Versilia. Versilia is a part of Tuscany. It's Tuscany coast. And we are going to open a new office in February in Turin and Piedmont and Chernobyl. Chernobyl, it's a place where is Villa d'Este, the leading hotel in the world, located. So we are happy to see all our clients, and they can contact us by mail, by phone, through resource center, and we will be happy to assist them to finding their dream property here in Italy.
Did y'all hear that? First of all,
Welcome to Italy.
that's right. Say it in Italian as we.
Benvenuti in Italia.
That is so beautiful, right? Oh, I love it. So I'm definitely going to be traveling to
So
Italy.
we are waiting for you.
How about you, Vivian?
Well, if you want sun and beach, you come on over to Key Biscayne. Key Biscayne is a barrier island right off Miami, and it's beautiful. I mean, I fell in love with it when I was young, and I always wanted to be here and live here, and I'm blessed and very lucky to live 2 minutes from work. So it's wonderful. It's a very resort and laid back town, but beautiful. You know, the ocean is just amazing.
Oh, nice. And Laura, you're in Irvine, right?
Yeah, so our headquarters of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services is in beautiful Irvine, Southern California, and I am lucky enough to live in beautiful Redondo Beach. So I'm just
Oh, that's a beautiful
Oh,
area. I
nice.
just visited when I went to BHHS California, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services California Properties had a women event, and I was lucky enough to be able to be toured through the beautiful areas of Redondo, Newport Beach, all those different little beautiful coves and waterfronts. So again, for all of you, we'd love for you to learn more about our companies and these individuals, and you'll have all their contact information in our Women Who Lead Facebook page and YouTube page. All right, so I want to really thank all of you and take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to each of you for sharing your experiences and perspectives with us. You know, I'm reminded of this beautiful quote by Saint Augustine: "The world is a book, and those who do not travel or experience other cultures read only one page." I thought that was just so beautiful because it's so true. So
Right.
thank you for helping us explore new chapters and broadening our understanding of the world. Be sure, everyone, to mark your calendars for our next Diversity Matters show. And that one precedes Women Who Lead. It's going to be on December 4th at 1 p.m. And with us is going to be Ryan Davis, who is the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for the National Association of Realtors. I can't wait for that show. And then back here again on December 18th for our last episode of the year, where we'll feature our inclusive champions. And these are our young and up and coming leaders that are part of our network that will be talking about how they love and are passionate about DEI. And to our listeners, may this season of gratitude inspire you to lead with purpose and kindness. Until next time, everyone, happy Thanksgiving and keep navigating with an open heart. Bye-bye, everyone. And Marina, Thanksgiving in
Bye.
the US. I know that's not part of your culture, but thank you again for being here, everyone. Bye-bye.
Grazie mille.
Bye.
bye.
Arrivederci.